Origin of bread. The earliest bread was made in Egypt in or around 8000 BC. In antiquity, it was mainly a paste of flour and water. Addition of chemicals came into play in the 20th century, making bread flour heavily processed. Heavily processed. Bread needs only 4 ingredients: flour, yeast, water and salt. Most of the breads in the market nowadays have more than 30 ingredients, making them heavily processed. Natural. Many brands promise no artificial preservatives, colors or flavors and no high fructose corn syrup. But if you look close, in each loaf you can find high in fat soybean oil and artery clogging hydrogenated oils. Bread packaging. Front packaging of the bread cannot be trusted. Words like multigrain, whole grain, whole wheat show up on every single package of bread these days and are very misleading. Instead, flip and look at the back label and check if you are getting all the nutrients without the additives. White bread, say no. Avoid white bread. Avoid anything with enriched, bleached or unbleached as the first ingredient. Avoid chemicals, dough conditioners and preservatives and ingredients you cannot pronounce. Ground rules for buying bread. Serving size ratio of carbs to fiber should be less than or equal to 5:1. Avoid any bread with raisins, cinnamon and bananas. Any bread with more than 2 grams of sugar isn't good. So what breads are good for you? Sprouted grain bread. Sprouted grain process involves soaking the grains in water until they begin to grow a sprout. Enzymes are released during the sprouting process which break down proteins and carbohydrates. Sprouted grain advantage. Sprouted grain bread provides the body with grain already broken down by enzymes and nutrients are absorbed immediately into the body and not lost in the digestive process. Sprouted grain bread is also low in glycemic index. How to find good sprouted grain bread? Look for breads whose majority of grains are listed as sprouted. Do not buy the brands which only list 50% of their grains as sprouted. Refrigerated brands may not contain preservatives when compared to the ones at room temperature. Nutrient content. Sprouting process increases the micronutrient content of the grain, including nutrients such as vitamin B, C, E, folate, iron, zinc, magnesium and protein. Sprouting breaks down phytic acid, making a lot of minerals available. Sprouts also have essential amino acids lacking in whole grains. Contains less sugar. Regular whole wheat bread may taste bitter without added sugars, hence more sugar is added to balance that, whereas sprouted breads will have more of a naturally sweet flavor and these may contain less sugar when compared to others. Health benefits. Sprouted brown rice fights diabetes, heart disease, depression and fatigue. Sprouted buckwheat protects against fatty liver disease. Sprouted barley is effective in decreasing blood pressure. Local bakery. Buy bread from a local bakery. Check with your local baker on how they baked it. If possible, if they used anything else in addition to flour, yeast, water and salt. Ikaria. Ikaria, Greece is one of the few places around the world with highest life expectancy. Ikaria is the place where people forget to die. Residents there have very little Alzheimer's, dementia or other old age related diseases. Secret of Icarian. Icarians eat true sourdough bread that does not contain baker's yeast. Instead, their bread uses lactobacilli, which digests starches and gluten while making the bread rise. The result, a sourdough bread that is gluten-free, has a longer shelf life and is nutrient rich. Now you know the bread secret and the longevity secret of Icarian. What is sourdough bread? Sourdough is one of the oldest forms of grain germination and has a good prebiotic content. Sourdough fermentation may help delaying stomach emptying. Sourdough is good for blood sugar and insulin level control. Fake sourdough? Most sourdough breads in the market today are fake. They contain yeast and sweeteners. Go to your local bakery and make sure they don't use yeast for sourdough bread. Or look up an Icarian sourdough bread recipe and bake it. And hopefully, you will increase your longevity too if you stick with it daily. Why is it important to eat bread? Whole grains are regularly on the plates of some longest lived, healthiest populations on the planet with very low rates of chronic diseases. Bread is a good source of whole grains. Just 3 portions of whole grains a day reduces the risk of heart attack by 15%. Pregnancy. Bread is a must for women of childbearing age. Women with restricted carbohydrate intake are 30% more likely to have an infant with a neural tube defect. Choose wisely. As you now know that bread is a very important source of whole grains, you now have the option to choose wisely. Avoid white processed bread and opt for either sprouted grain bread or Icarian sourdough bread, the one without the yeast. I hope you got a good idea in this video of which breads are processed and which ones to avoid, and you also got a good overview of the sprouted grain bread and sourdough bread. And if you opt for sourdough bread, definitely choose the Icarian sourdough bread, because Icaria is a place where people have been living for hundreds of years and eating the bread, and everybody forgets to die there because everyone has such good health and they live a long life. So I hope you also follow the Icaria model. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe.